Hi, Baruch. Tell me what you're working on, buddy.
So I just got into the federal business ops because I was in. No, I just heard of it from
Uh,
a friend,
okay.
and I kind of looked into it. I got ahead, I know I went ahead and got started as far as like creating LLC stuff like that, and I'm actually in the process of registering with SAM.gov.
Okay.
I've actually seen some of your videos on that too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of doing that right now, and the only one of the questions that I have is that when I do go ahead and start it, because I don't really have specific things to kind of sell to the government.
Okay.
Um, I was gonna, kind of, I don't know if it like, but lack of better words, I was gonna work as like a middleman, kind of,
Okay.
and for example, if the government needs computers, I know, people that sell computer stuff like that, whatever like the listing is, I can go ahead and contact those people,
Right.
and I can arrange the price stuff like that, and like, I can go ahead and put the offer in,
Uh huh.
and then kind of like work as a middleman. I just don't know if that was possible or not though.
So let me ask you this: what brought you to the marketplace, anyways? Like, what made you interested in even doing this?
I'm honestly, I just graduated in December, and I'm actually looking to get into something.
Uh huh.
And like I said, I graduated with degree in economics stuff like that, and I feel
Okay.
like this would kind of overlap with it.
Okay.
And I feel like it would be a good place for me to start. Given that I'm quite young,
Right.
that just wouldn't hurt. Trying things like something like this.
So let me ask you this: so you just graduated recently, economics degree.
hmm
And but how did you learn about the government marketplace? Like, what? No one. When I graduated, no one told me about the government marketplace. What made you think about this as a potential business?
To be honest with you, I I was watching a movie and then I saw people actually using it in the movie, and I was like, "Is this real?" And then I actually went on and looked at it, and then like it was something real.
Uh huh.
And the movie is actually based on a true story. Have you heard of the movie War Dogs?
Uh huh. Of course.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I, looked into it, and then like I talked to a friend. He was like, "Yeah, I've heard of it, but hey, he's never done anything as far as like working with the government or anything like that."
Mm. So basically, you saw the movie, it piqued your interest, and you're like, wait, let me find if it's real. You start digging around. You saw some videos. You went on YouTube, and you saw some people, and then I guess somehow you ran across me.
No, you're actually the probably the only person on YouTube that I found like that's that kind of like made sense or like was had good videos.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm probably, and again, I don't know all those other people. There's like two or three people that do it, but I don't know if they actually do contracts. Like, I actually do the actual contracts, so they're more like consultants and things like that. Whereas I'm teaching people things that I do. And it's funny because one of the first homework assignments is to watch the movie War Dogs for people who don't understand how this works. So you kind of did
Really?
the reverse where you watched the movie and it inspired you, and so now you're trying to figure out how to put it all together. It sounds like you still have some more, some videos to watch and things like that. But I do have videos on, there's other sites out there besides FBO where you could start bidding contracts. So what you're trying to do in terms of being the middleman, there's like, for example, FedBid allows you to do that. It's an open market bid site, kind of like an eBay type system where you go out, they tell you what they want to buy, you find someone who sells it, and then you give them a price proposal, and then you actually submit it to them. If you're accepted, then you win the job, and then you fulfill that order. And I mean, I have friends of mine that do $50,000 a year just on that site alone. I mean, in their pocket, not
Really?
revenue. We're talking about in their pocket money.
Really? Okay. Do they also work on federal business ops or
No,
just
no, no.
just
These are totally different sites. You got to go back and watch some more videos.
okay?
Go back and watch some more videos. But this is FedBid.
FedBid. Okay.
Yeah, so FedBid allows you to bid in that same way. Besides that, let's talk about some of the things where maybe you may already have some experience that you don't realize. One of the things that I talk about in my consultant video is working with people that you already know that are in business and helping them. If I had a chance to go back and do it all over again, and I just graduated from college, knowing what I know today, one of the things I would do is start. talking to companies that are already out here working and trying to help them get contracts in the federal arena, and that's very lucrative.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people out here that need, because a lot of people say, well, um, you don't have any experience, but if you
But
start,
how would you go about that though? Like in terms of like, for example, say I know you and you sell TVs, right?
uh huh.
But and the government needs is trying to buy TV. So do I like I come up to you and like how do I approach you? Like do
All
I
right.
say
So
the
the first
government?
thing you have to do is you have to become familiar yourself with how this works, right? So you got to go
Okay.
back and actually watch the videos, right? So go back and try to. I won't say binge watch it, but I've had several people that I know that called me and said they've binge watched my videos. So go back and try and watch
Okay.
the videos and get a thorough grasp of the marketplace. I like people that come
Okay.
to me and say, "Hey, look, I watched this. I didn't quite understand that. I watched this video. It didn't really make sense to me." And then we could start having some more high level conversations. But first thing I would say is let's go back and watch some videos so that you have a grasp of the marketplace. Once you understand the market, right? Once you understand how this whole thing works, and that's why I encourage you to go through the free course, even though just so that in case you don't want to miss anything. So when someone so that way when you are talking to people, you're talking intelligently, right? Like what you're saying.
Right.
I'm confident that if you go through and watch the videos that I have online, you're gonna have more knowledge than like 95% of the people out there because they haven't and they don't know anything about this stuff. Even companies that do $5-7 million in business, they don't know federal contracts and they don't have people working on everyone does not have people working on this marketplace. A lot of times they heard that it's difficult, they've heard that it's hard, they heard that the government doesn't pay. There's a lot of myths surrounding that. And I go through and I answer a lot of those questions in the free course. Again, that's why I keep on saying go through the course. It's out here, it's a
So the
free
free
resource.
course is the videos itself, or
It's a free course. Go to my
is that like
website and you can sign up for the free course. So, that's the first thing. But let's assume that you've done all this stuff and you've got it now. Now you have a grasp, a working knowledge of how this thing comes together. Once you have that, then you can take any company and approach them and say, hey, my name is Baruch and I want to help you start getting into the federal marketplace. And again, this works when you're dealing with people who are not currently doing federal contracts. Obviously, if they're doing federal contracts, there's not really much value you can add to them. But there are
right?
millions of companies around the country that are not currently doing federal contracts, and there are even some that are certified to do business with the government, but they're not doing business with the government. And
Right.
there's websites that show you who those people are, right? And you can easily do that research and find out who the people are who are certified, eligible to do business with the government, but they don't know how to
Mhm.
actually do the market research. They don't know how to do business development. They're not putting themselves out there and letting the government know they exist. So it's like register for any other database. Your name's just in the hat, but at the end of the day, the government, people work with people they like, people work with people they trust, people work with people they know.
Right.
Just because your name's in a hat, that doesn't mean they know, like, or trust you because you haven't taken the time to go out and sit with the person, meet with them, introduce yourself, let them know how you can add value to what they're already doing. So, assuming fast forward, 3 months from now, you've watched the videos, you've done the free course. If you find companies that are maybe a family friend or a friend of a friend or someone knows someone, if you start telling people, hey, listen, I know about government contracts and I think that I can help add some value to someone's company who's looking to get in that marketplace. You start having that conversation, and really quickly, you'll meet people that want what you offer. People will approach you and say, "Hey, look, Baruch, I heard your friend told me that you knew about government contracts. My business has been looking to get into that arena. Do you think you can help us?" And the first thing that you would do, or the first thing I would encourage you to do, is do market research. Again, fast forward, you've already watched the videos, so you know how to do market research. So really quickly, you can identify who are their clients, who's buying their services, and you can present that in the form of a proposal to that person. Now, again, imagine you're coming to me and I'm a $5 million a year business, and you show me right away within, say, a week of all the potential clients, customers, partners, and proteges that I could work with in the federal government in my area. People are going to start listening to you. They're going to pay attention. They're going to sit up and they're going to say, "Tell me more." And then the next step is, okay, here's all the people who that you have the opportunity ability to work with. Here are the agencies. The next step is, let me show you how I can help you get in front of some of these decision makers and maybe qualify your company to start going after some of these contracts.
Okay.
Absolutely. Who's going to say no that we don't want to make more money if they're
Right. Absolutely.
so
That makes
if
sense.
so again, it's all about the approach. But the first thing is you have to learn and become familiar and understand this stuff yourself. And then you could go out to someone and actually and be confident that you can add real value to them, because again, market research, it's easy to do once you know how to do it, but it's extremely valuable to people who don't have this information. And that's why if you look out there, you'll see a lot of people selling market research information for government contracts when you can easily do it yourself. Because since it is the government, it's all public information and you can easily access that via several websites. And again, I have free videos on that. So, you do the market research, that's extremely valuable to someone, anyone. I mean, I don't care if it's a $5 million company, if it's a $10 million company. The people who I'm working with today, they did 29 million, and they still paid someone like me to come in and do market research for them. So again, you can do market research for the people, which is a value. And then once you've done the market research, you can then start doing business development for them, which is valuable. And then the business development leads to contract opportunities, which again, that's where the rubber meets the road, and where you can start taking in some real money.
Okay.
Makes sense?
So as far as the
That's
yeah,
that's
it does.
that's the overview of it. That's like the 20-mile high overview of it, without going into the actual steps.
Right. And as far as the the bidding on contracts, stuff like that goes on FedBid and like the also like other parties. Is that something that I'll have to wait on, or is it something I can also
No, no,
do?
no. You could bid on contracts on FedBid right now. Anyone could bid on contracts on FedBid.
No, I'm saying like in terms of like would you recommend that, or should I wait?
No, no, no. Again, if you can call, if you could do an eBay search, an Amazon search, a Google search, you could bid on FedBid.
Okay.
Very easy. All you got to do is find the product, match it up, meet the specifications, meet the requirements, find someone who sells it, and then match the people together. So anyone can bid on FedBid. You don't have to be
So when
registered
you
in
say match the
SAM.
people
You don't have
together,
to have any
do I have
experience. You don't have to
to
have any
match?
money.
So do I have to match the people together, or like how am I involved in that? Like
Think about
or how?
if your toilet breaks, you have to find someone to fix the toilet. If your
Right.
lights go out in your house, you got to find someone to fix the lights. If you need a new roof, you got to find a roofer. FedBid is the same thing. They're asking for specific requirements. They're asking for specific things. You then go on the internet and find the people who make it, manufacture it, supply it, and then you find out what it costs, and then you provide that to the government.
Okay. And then when I provide to the government, they accept it. Do I pay the people, and then like the government pays me, or like
Again,
the government does like
yeah. So, again, I would encourage you to go through the free course. Like I answer all these questions in the course.
all the time? Okay.
Everything you're asking, I answer in the course. So that's why I'm trying to get you to go talk. Let's go talk about some other issues that are maybe that you haven't thought through yet. So let's say this is a good question. Let's say you have a price for a product. The government accepts your
Okay.
order. Now you've got to
Say
buy
it
that
again.
product. How do you buy it?
Wait, can you say that one more time?
So let's say you offer to sell the government hard drives, right?
Okay.
You want to offer to sell the government hard drives. Let's say the order is for 50 hard drives. They're $200 a piece. So now how do you buy that product to sell it to the government? Because the government's not going to pay you up front. That's where you need to get supplier credit and vendor credit. That's where creating your LLC is very important. That's where,
Mhm.
again, when you create your LLC, you set up an actual business. Now you can go and become a vendor or a supplier to the people who make that product. And I have a video on that. So I think first, before we go any further, I think you've got to do some more homework, because a lot of the questions they're
Okay.
asking, they're like elementary. And so what you want to do is get through that stuff and start asking, to be able to ask me some of the tough questions out there.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
You know,
Fair enough.
yeah, honestly, because you could easily go through and resolve some of these issues, and then that way when when you get to some tough stuff, then it's like, okay, now is when I need to talk to Eric, because now we've got some really tough things that he didn't cover anywhere.
That makes sense.
Makes
Okay.
sense. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Go through that,
Okay. And then
and one of the things that I will say is this, and I know because you said it before, is that you're afraid, and a lot of people are afraid, and
Mhm.
that's probably the biggest obstacle for people to overcome. The biggest hurdle is fear, and
Right.
so the only way that people get past their fears is what, by taking action, by actually doing stuff. So you kind of have
Right.
to
Okay.
start. You have to do something in order to help you get past your fear. You're not going to get past your fears by sitting on the sideline. You're going to have to actually get out there and participate and do some first steps. Even if you don't know all of the steps, you got to do some first initial steps. You got to go to the websites. You've got to look at the websites. You've got to look at what you have to click through, see how it works. Go through. It's kind of like playing with the stock market. Even if you set up a fake trader account, go through and see how that works and some of the trades work, and how you would feel. You can go through some of the emotions. Go through and sign up for some of these sites. Look at what do they have out there available to bid, and then see if you can find pricing on these items that make sense. And you could track all this stuff without actually having to actively participate. So you can actually go through, sign up, create an account on FedBid, monitor bids like you would on Amazon or eBay. Monitor the bids, go back and find out if you can find out who makes these products, and call them up and see if they will give you pricing. And that's like a way to start overcoming some of your fears. But you can't be passive and just watch videos and think you're going to overcome your fear. It's not going to work.
Right. Of course.
I'll be
Of
honest
course
with you.
not.
I mean, trust me, everyone has this issue. Everyone at every level, we all have fears. I have fears. They're
Right.
different fears, but at every level, we all have fears. But once you've been successful a few times, and then you start to figure out that it kind of works
Get more
itself out.
comfortable with it.
Yeah, you get more and more comfortable with it, and you see how it works out. Even though you don't know exactly how it's going to work out, because you've been in situations before that you didn't understand why they were happening and what was happening, and you saw
Mhm.
that it worked out, you kind of know, like, back in the back of your mind, you're like, you know what? I don't really see my way out of this, but I know it's going to work out at the end. But it takes you
Right.
going through those events, going through that, and having that experience before you can start, like, maturing and saying, you know what, this isn't so bad after all. Like this is where the magic starts to happen.
Right.
All
Okay.
right. So,
That
but
makes
you've
sense.
got to try it. You absolutely 100%. If there's anything I'm going to leave you with today, is you have to try it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Because
that's I'll
because
believe
the
with that.
funny
Yeah.
thing is, you saw the movie War Dogs, right? Did
Mhm.
you go on YouTube and
Right.
see the actual video footage?
Say it again.
Okay, you saw War Dogs,
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
but did you see the actual video footage of the real Senate hearing?
Oh no, I actually didn't.
Yeah, so you can go on YouTube, right? And you can
Mhm.
see, how you turn on C-SPAN and CNN, and they're like the people in
Right.
Congress are on TV.
Right. Right.
You could go on YouTube and see the War Dogs, actual guys in the Senate, people having the hearing, discussing this.
Okay.
So you can actually see, like, not forget the movie part. You could see it on YouTube, the actual where these guys are in there testifying in front of Congress, and they're like, you guys, why did you guys lie to the government? They're like on trial, like how Mark Zuckerberg was on trial recently for Facebook. They're
Right.
literally on trial, uh, talking about how they defrauded the government. So it's just
Wow.
interesting history to watch. But yeah, you can actually go and find
Uh,
that coverage on YouTube as well. Just to let you know that this, I mean, it's real. It's not like this is based on a movie. This movie's based on
right.
this because of
Based on a true
technology. We
story.
now have the footage to go back and actually watch it and see where these people are on trial with Congress and defending themselves for lying to the government.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's
How long would you say it? That,
go through again. I would encourage you to watch some videos, do some of the steps, take the free course, and become a little bit more comfortable with it, so that it will
Mhm.
ease some of your fears. Because again, the more knowledge you have, when people ask you what's your name, how old you are, you're not afraid, because why? You know this stuff. Become more
Right.
familiar with the government world, and you'll know it just as well as you know computers, just as well as you know Google or Amazon or video games.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How long would you say it takes, to actually like, go ahead, get started, finish all that, and like, start making just like, decent amount of income through this?
Again, all these questions I answer in the free course.
Okay. Okay. My apologies on that.
Hey, again, listen, these are very
Currently
common
haven't watched
questions
that.
that I answer in the course.
Yeah.
But since you do have me on the phone, we've got a couple more minutes. There's really no timeline. I have people that have been awarded contracts in months. I have people that they take years, because they're not actually doing anything. They're thinking that by signing up and registering, that's all they have to do, and that's so far from the truth.
Yeah, absolutely don't agree with that.
So it depends on how active you are at this. I have some college students of mine that I spoke with them, and a few months later they won a contract to sell like a telescope to the government.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
mean, again, it just depends on yourself. I mean, if you're looking at Fed bid every day and you're actively bidding jobs on Fed bid, I would imagine within 4 to 6 weeks you'll have a contract.
Okay. All right.
But again, that's if you're actively doing it.
Right. I mean, I'm not just saying it just to, you know, say it, but I'm actually like, looking to actually do this, full on, like
Oh, that'd be
as long
great.
as, as long as it's needed.
Listen,
Because,
let me tell you something.
yeah.
The government can use young people coming into this marketplace.
Right. Okay.
So that the beauty is, what I would say, with your youth coupled with a seasoned company, I think you guys could do some really great things together. That's where
Okay.
I would see your strengths, because I know companies that make a lot of money, that would love to have someone that had the energy and the vigor to go after federal contracts on their behalf. I know several companies like that I know. So I
Okay.
could imagine, if I know some in my own circle, there's got to be hundreds or thousands more out there, wherever you live, where
Out
you're
there,
at.
exactly.
They're out there. So
Right. Okay.
so
Exactly. I
start
actually live
learning the
in North.
marketplace. You start understanding it, and then you'll start to grow inside, and you'll start seeing opportunities for yourself. Okay.
Okay. Exactly. Exactly. And then for the Fitbit stuff like that, to actually go ahead and do I need some kind of like a written document, something like that? Because like I remember like when I was watching one of your videos, you said to shoot you an email so you can go ahead and like email us some documents, but that was for
Right, but you're
federal
not
business
there
ops.
yet. You're not there yet.
Hey, I'm not there. Okay.
All right, Brooke. Listen, I've got to go, buddy. I hope I was able to answer some questions for you today.
Absolutely,
Um,
yeah. Thank you so much, Eric. I know you're busy. I
Yeah,
appreciate all
no,
your
no,
time.
no worries, man. Listen, I want to, a lot of times, what questions you have, other people have the same questions out there. So that's why I'm starting to do this now, because again, I'm trying to, help people by listening to other third party stories. So your story can help someone, other people's stories can help you as well, vice versa. So, all right, buddy.
Okay, exactly.
All right,
All right,
thanks.
thank
Hey,
you.
look,
Now,
I hope to see
no,
you in the
we'll
course
we'll keep
soon.
in touch.
Okay.
Say it again.
I hope to see you in the course.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm
Okay.
actually gonna be on it sometime, today. If not, definitely
Yeah,
tomorrow.
just go to my website,
But yeah, I'll definitely.
scorecontract.com, click on free course, sign up, and you'll start receiving the emails. Okay?
Okay,
All right,
sounds
buddy.
good.
Talk to you
Thank you
soon.
so much,
Thank you so
Eric.
much.